Call to order the September 19th meeting of the Bridgewater Town Council. Make sure my mic's on. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting was provided on December 21st, 2023, by sending written notice and electronic notice to the Courier News and the Breeze, posting on the website and the bulletin board in the municipal building, and filing with the township clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Here.
Councilman Cordilla?
Here.
Councilman Nogales?
Here.
Councilman Pedroso?
Here.
President Ring.
Would you stand, if you're able, for the Pledge of Allegiance to be handled by Alan Cordilla? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have minutes for approval of August 15th and September 5th. Both have been circulated. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at them?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Motion from Alan. Second, please.
Which date is this? I'm sorry?
August 15th and September 5th.
September 5th, I'll be abstaining. Could we separate it?
All right, we'll separate them. We'll go with August 15th. Alan, can we take your movement on Alan on
I'll second.
August 15th?
Yes.
And we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now moving to the September 5th minutes. Motion on that, please.
I'll make that motion.
All right, same characters. Any other comments? Mr. Pedroso will abstain from those. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays or abstentions? Okay. Thank you. Township Council reports. We'll begin with Mr. Pedroso.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I just want to state that Mr. George Bateman, a Bridgewater resident, passed away. Mr. Bateman was a lifelong resident of Bridgewater. He was a graduate of Bridgewater Raritan High School East, same school I went to. And he also was a graduate of Cook College at Rutgers University, which happens to be the same school I went to. George was a great man. He was an active community servant. He participated in many things, had a lot of, obviously, civil service. In fact, the day before he passed away, he was actually at this council meeting. He used to be a regular attendee here, and I'm going to miss him. On September 7th, I had the privilege of participating in a deeply moving ceremony at the historic Prince Rogers Cemetery, where we were joined by the remarkable reenactors of the 6th Regiment U.S. Colored Troops. Standing there, surrounded by the echoes of history, I was reminded of the incredible courage and sacrifice of those who fought not just for their country, but for their freedom and dignity. Prince Rogers was born into slavery right here in Bridgewater Township in 1815 and was freed in 1839. His story didn't end there. He answered the call of duty and served in the United States Colored Troops, a brotherhood of men who fought not only for the Union, but for the very principles of equality and justice. During the event, I learned that the United States Colored Troops played an invaluable role in shaping the course of the Civil War. Over 130 regiments of infantry, 6 regiments of cavalry, and dozens of artillery units were formed, with black men from many states stepping forward to serve. It is believed that around 1,500 black men from New Jersey alone fought in that war, with 680 of them in the 22nd United States Colored Troops. To delve deeper into the powerful history of the U.S. Colored Troops, I encourage you to watch the video I took and posted of one of their reenactors sharing their story. You can find it on my Facebook page, Felipe Pedroso-Bridgewater. I also want to thank Lorraine Allen and the Prince Rogers Foundation for both cleaning up and preserving the Prince Rogers Cemetery and for hosting this event. Now, shifting to another solemn moment in our nation's history, I'd like to take a moment to express my gratitude to Mayor Mensch for once again leading a poignant September 11th remembrance ceremony here at Town Hall. On that fateful day, nearly 3,000 souls were lost, and countless more lives were forever changed by the terror attacks. This year, the Girl Scouts Troops 60029, in collaboration with our dedicated town staff, placed 2,977 flags along Woodlawn Avenue adjacent to the administration building. These flags stand as a powerful and heartbreaking reminder of those we lost on September 11th. But let's not forget, if we were to place a flag for every son and daughter, mother and father, brother and sister, and friend who had a loved one ripped away from them that day, the flags would stretch far beyond this town hall, and still, it wouldn't capture the enormity of the loss. Bridgewater itself lost 6 of its own that day: Noel Foster, Ronald Tortero, Lance Tumulty, Thomas Bohemus, Evan Barron, and Allison Wildman. We honor their memory as part of a community that stands united in the face of tragedy and forever committed to remembering.
Thank you. Mr. Kirsch.
Thank you, Mr. President. On September 10th, the zoning board met, heard a case, Somerset Property Associates LLC, an office building on 202-206, an interesting new use, senior daycare within what was previously Class A office space. So that certainly is an overall community good to provide that assistance to seniors, a resource for them, and then also reusing office space in a creative way. September 11th, I had the privilege of attending both the beginning of the county ceremony, remembrance ceremony, as well as the one that we had here at our municipal complex that was referenced by Councilman Pedroso. And I'm simply going to state or restate one of the themes that was covered by Mayor Mensch. It's now 23 years since the terrible attacks occurred. Many of us witnessed them personally, and Bridgewater certainly had loss, and on a personal level, many of us have also experienced loss that day in one form or another. The question's now been asked 23 years later. Well, how much longer are you going to do this? And I think that the mayor gave a very meaningful answer. We're going to keep doing it. There is no end in sight. So it would certainly be my hope that those for many, many years who are in positions of authority with this township will continue to have a ceremony like that. And I certainly make the personal pledge that for every September 11th that I wake up with breath in my lungs and enough strength in my legs, that I will get to a 9/11 ceremony, whether it be during time I continue to live in Bridgewater or potentially elsewhere as my life continues. I think it's our solemn commitment. Never forget really does mean never forget. The following day, September 12th, I attended Somerset Patriots Day, sponsored by Plan NJ. Plan NJ stands for Planned Lifetime Assistance Network of New Jersey. They provide practical solutions for people with disabilities and their families, focused particularly on legal, financial, and other needs that individuals with disabilities have. It was a very successful night, a very large group out in support of that important organization. On Saturday, September 14th, I attended the Mid-Autumn Lantern Festival. That is a celebration of the Chinese American culture. That's certainly something that I look forward to every year on the calendar. That was held over at the Bridgewater Commons Mall. Later that afternoon, I had the privilege of speaking at George Bateman's funeral on behalf of our community with brief words acknowledging his many, many contributions to Bridgewater. The following day, September 15th, was the JCC Community Day and Touch a Truck event, also over at the Bridgewater Commons Mall, so that was extremely successful. Brought in children and families from really across the region, learned two things. Kids love to honk the horn of a school bus, So if you were anywhere near that, you heard a constant drone of a honking horn, and they're a little freaked out by the cage that's in the back of a police car where prisoners are potentially housed. Their kids were a little leery of that part of the operation. On September 17th, the planning board was canceled. That gave me the opportunity to attend Somerset Patriots playoff game, which they won. And as we speak, they're playing game 2 of a 3-game series. Hopefully, if successful, you'll see the lights on next Tuesday night, next Wednesday night over at the ballpark. That'll be a sign that good things are happening because the Patriots are in the Eastern League Championship. And then finally, wanted to just acknowledge that we will soon be turning our attention to the fall food drive. That is a collaboration between the Township of Bridgewater and Bridgewater United. Bags like this will be distributed to our soccer families. A tent will be erected out in the courtyard. The distribution is anticipated for October 7th. The tent will be set up during the week of the 14th. And with the assistance of our DPW staff, we will be collecting food for the food network of Somerset County that's located in Bridgewater, and we'll bring all the goods over there, and certainly it's a great partnership between the Soccer Association, the town, on behalf of the Food Bank Network. And that's my report.
Thank you. Alan Cordillo, please.
Thank you, Howard. Since our last meeting, I participated in the September 11th ceremony, which indeed is a very heavy-hearted ceremony in Bridgewater Township. I also attended a workshop on stormwater management, and from the 11th to the 15th, I attended the New Jersey State Firemen's Association Convention, which did not enable me to attend a luncheon, so to speak, to be recognized as a senior member of distinction by Congressman Kane. I truly do admit to being disappointed not to attend that meeting. That's it, Howard.
Thank you. My report, Philippe, thank you for recognizing the passing of George Bateman. He was actually sitting right in the back there during the Thursday meeting last, and by the next morning, their world had changed. The state of New Jersey record of unclaimed property was again printed in the Courier News in the smallest print available, making it extremely difficult for read for most of us, especially even with my glasses, I couldn't. Bridgewater is unfortunately well represented among the names and addresses, so I will again leave my copy in the clerk's office at the desk. And if you were in their municipal office and you wish to browse through, please stop by. I have also on the white table between the two doors placed a copy of the report. It's 20 pages long. As I say, the print is very small. There are hundreds and hundreds of Bridgewater names. But if you're seeking to look for your name, look not only for your last name, but for your first name, because the state sometimes prints Joe Jones or Jones Joe, and it's all over the place. But anyway, there is a magnifying glass there also for those who need it. I want to thank Allie from Grace's organization. I called her earlier in the week and I said, anybody in the township have a magnifying glass? Because I really want to have one for Thursday. And without a beat, she said, I'll take care of it. And she did. So thank you, Allie. The Township 9/11 service was held on that date. This was mentioned several times. This year I wanted to depart from simply saying there was a 9/11 ceremony and share what really happened on the 23rd anniversary. Mayor Mensch opened and closed the ceremony with insight as to how 9/11 was personal to New Jersey as opposed to other parts of the country where it was considered a national event. Participants included the Police Honor Guard. Alan Cordilla read the Fireman's Prayer. Philippe Pedroso read the EMS Prayer. Police Chief John Mitzak read the Policeman's Prayer. The following 9/11 Bridgewater deaths were memorialized: Noel Foster by Matthew Mensch, Ron Tataro by Alan Credilla, Lance Tumulty by Howard Nargalis, Thomas Polhemus by Michael Kirsch, and Evan Barone by Philippe Bedroso. We remember and honor those who fell on that fateful day. I want to share a few words about special happenings in Bridgewater over the next little time. The first is the Hindu festival of Ganesh. It's celebrated as the birthday of the Hindu deity Ganesh. The festival is marked with the installation of Ganesh clay murtis, which are devotional representatives of the deity, privately in homes and publicly on elaborate temporary stages. Observances include chanting of historic Vedic hymns and Hindu texts, such as prayers and fastings, offerings, and pasada, a vegetable food cooked especially for devotees after prayers and thanksgiving are distributed to the community. The festival ends on the 10th day after the start, when the clay murti is carried in a public procession with music and group chanting, then immersed in a nearby body of water, generally a river or sea. In Mumbai, India alone, 150,000 murtis were immersed annually. Thereafter, the clay murti dissolves, and Ganesh is believed to return to his celestial abode. Another activity in the township is the Al Falah annual fall festival on September 22nd from 2 to 7 at the temple location on Route 202-206. All are welcome. Temple Shalom will celebrate the 50th anniversary of Judaic ministry of Rabbi Isaacs on November 24th, and invitations are being sent out to temple members. The joint outing of the township and JCC was held the last week at the parking lot in the mall, and as has previously been mentioned, hundreds turned out to enjoy rides for the kids, food and displays, and informational handouts. That is my report. Mayor's report, please.
Just briefly, on behalf of the mayor, we wanted to thank members of the council and staff and the JCC for a very successful day this past Sunday, and thank the members of the council for their participation in the 9/11 ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7 on the agenda, we have no proclamations, but we have item number 8, which is presentation, which reads as recognition of Councilman Alan Credilla and Council Vice President Howard Nargalis as seniors of distinction from the office of Congressman Tom Kane Jr., and we have a representative from Tom Kane's organization. JD, would you come forward? JD is no stranger to Bridgewater, having worked here as part of OCS.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure and honor to be here tonight. Councilman Norgalis, thank you so much. And Councilman Credilla, we were sorry to have missed you on the 13th. I do have a letter here from the Congressman. Dear Councilman Credilla, I am so sorry that you were unable to attend the Congressional District 7 Seniors of Distinction event held on September 13th in Bridgewater. I would have enjoyed the opportunity to have congratulated you in person for being selected for this honor. One of the best parts of being a congressman is that I wake up every day with the opportunity to make a positive difference in somebody else's life. I know you share that same mindset and have dedicated your time, experience, and talents to serving others around you. Your nomination and selection as a Senior of Distinction serves as a testament to your passion and to your commitment to service, particularly your more than 55 years of service on the Findern Fire Department, including serving as chief, your current position as the chair of Bridgewater's 4th Fire District, and your service as a Bridgewater councilman for over 15 years. Please accept this certification of recognition with my most sincere thanks for all you have done and continue to do to better the world around you. Again, congratulations and best wishes for much happiness in the years ahead. Sincerely, Tom Kane Jr., Member of Congress. So I would love to present this certificate to you. I also have another one here for Council Vice President Norgalis with a little bit of a nicer cover on it. So.
Congratulations to you both. Very well deserved. Congratulations, Howard, Alan. I think between the two of you, you guys have a century of fire department service on you, right? Volunteers?
We tried to play down how long it's been, though,
Yeah,
but thank you.
it's phenomenal.
All
I
right, we're
mean,
now up to item number 8, which is meeting open to the public. Members of the public wishing to address the council on any matter will be allowed 2 minutes to speak unless there are unusual circumstances. May I have a motion open to the public, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are open to the public. And please give your name and address. You're no stranger to the position, but we need it for the record.
Good evening, gentlemen and members of the public in the audience and those live streaming. My name is Joan G. Geiger. First, shout out to the Bridgewater Police, a young adult male that I know who was recently stopped by a police officer. I just want to comment, the police officer was professional, understanding, and non-threatening, and at the same time was doing his job. I'd also like to comment on Councilman Pedroso's comments tonight. They were very much appreciated. I thought they were lovely. As to a different concern, in order to avoid escalation, I'm reaching out to all of you, council members and those people watching this tonight, regarding the recent uptick in the stealing of political signs from residents' homes. This has occurred in at least 15 homes, mostly in Martinsville. Some folks have reported it to the police. Many have not. Per NJ Statute 2C 20:3A, a person is guilty of theft if he takes property of another with the purpose to deprive him thereof. Per our criminal code, this is a disorderly persons offense that carries penalties of up to $1,000 in fine and 6 months in jail. Now, so that nobody gets frightened by this, I want to make it clear that any fines for a disorderly persons offense are generally much lower, and jail time would be extremely rare. And I also want to note that I have appeared in our municipal court many, many times, and I can assure the public that all of our judges are very reasonable, very fair, and very caring people. And if any of you have not been in our municipal court, I suggest you go sometime, and you will see how well run our court is. At any rate, the goal here is to stop this juvenile behavior rather than to see anyone punished, all right? Well, most people will brush it off. Some folks get upset and could be inclined to see charges pressed. In a world of tracking devices and door cameras, eventually the person or persons will be caught. Before this happens, I'm asking the folks in this room and the people who live stream this meeting to get out the word. This needs to stop. You can post statements on social media reminding people this behavior is juvenile. It's a waste of police and court time. It's illegal, and it's un-American. Let us eliminate this childish behavior and focus on lowering taxes, storm damage prevention, and safety from gun violence for our children and residents. And finally, let's hope that we never have to have an annual memorial, like all of you pretty much mentioned the 9/11 memorial. Let's work on firearms control so that we never have to have an annual memorial in Bridgewater to honor Bridgewater victims of gun violence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Geiger. Anyone else wishing to address the council?
It's Ms. Geiger. I don't go by Mrs. My husband has a different last name. Thank you.
Good evening, Kathy Franco, 766 Weemac Road. First, let me start off by saying I was here last Sunday, and I was very embarrassed and disgraced by the condition of the front of the municipal building planting areas. There were weeds in most of them, or many of them. Some of these weeds were 18 to 24 inches high. These are not weeds that just popped up yesterday. I have my own gardens at home. I know how long it takes for a weed to grow up to my knees. So I'm embarrassed as a citizen to have the main entrance to our municipal building look in such disrepair or such a way in which it seems as if we don't care. I would hope that there is some way that this council and this administration would pay attention. Apparently, you all come in the back door, so you probably don't even notice what it looks like to walk in the front door of this building. My next issue has to do with the Bocher, Wemple, whatever you want to call it, property. In August of 2018, the council approved the purchase of that property along with contributions from the county and from private organizations. This was Ordinance 18-14. In Section 7 of that ordinance, it said, DNR funding is requiring as a condition of its grant that the property be available to the public by the construction of a stone parking lot and trails to be agreed upon by the township and DNR in the future. So that was in 2018. We are now 6 years later. In 2023, this council approved the purchase of the Sempion property, and in September of 2023, the DNR Greenway gave an additional amount of money to this township to provide that access. So when will we as citizens be able to benefit and be able to access that? Because right now, it is only the abutting properties that are able to access that property. I drove by the entrance to where Sempion property is, and it is chained off. There is no way that I could even park my car, at the end of it and walk in and enjoy that property, which was meant for the benefit of all residents of this township. 6 years, it's a little too long. It's a little too late. What are you doing? You're probably not going to give me an answer tonight. I hope that you will have an answer by next council meeting or within the next month or two. Camp Cromwell, a whole nother issue. My 2 minutes will run out. I would love to see that open. I see the beautiful little bridges that were built, which are probably now rotting, the wooden bridges, because I'm sure they're not being pressure treated. I'm sure they're not being, monitored. The property is overgrown. Fences are broken down. All I see are no trespassing signs, and yet I see mountain bikers riding their bikes through it. And finally, how many redevelopment projects will this township be looking at? From what I can see, we're up to 3 in this current year. I understand that we need commercial real estate that will bring money in, but why aren't we attracting businesses to this town? We have individuals buying properties. Dewey bought a piece of property. Dewey is a trucking property. That property is not, currently planned or approved for trucking or for warehouses or whatever they traditionally do. So it's going to go under redevelopment. The whole thing is, you need to attract businesses. We have chased away businesses, and we continue to do that. You need to start attracting the type of businesses that we want in this town. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Franco. Anyone else wishing to address the council? Thank you.
I'll second.
Please, all those in favor of
Aye.
closing public, so signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, we are closed for the public. We're now up to item number 10, which is the public hearing and final action ordinance. An ordinance amending Chapter 126, Part 11, Article, 34, okay, of the Code of the Township of Bridgewater entitled Stormwater Control to reflect amendments to the New Jersey Stormwater Management Rules and NJAC 78 adopted July 17, 2023. Before I ask Mr. Pappas for comments on this, I'm going to say that at the last time we discussed this issue, I raised the issue of unfunded mandates. And the week before last, Mayor Mensch and I jointly signed a letter to the Commission on Unfunded Issues, which is a state organization. It was approved under the Constitution a number of years back the group looks over the approvals by the various ruling organizations and determines whether or not basically they're fair to the township. So we have not heard any filings back, and it may be an extended period of time. At the time I said I would not support this stormwater management unless we got a response, but I'm going to change my mind on that. I think the stormwater rules need to be applied, but I'm going to ask Mr. Pappas to share whatever insight he would like at this point.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Nogales. I want to thank members of the council that have made themselves available for us, Mr. Burr, our township engineer, and I, to brief each of you on this ordinance. A number of months ago, Tony Gallo, our assistant township engineer, and Dickie Shimp, our superintendent of public works, made a lengthy presentation here summarizing the new stormwater management requirements. Just to summarize very briefly for members of the public, in 2004, the state of New Jersey established a stormwater management requirements for every municipality in New Jersey. And in 2023, those requirements were enhanced. And those enhancements require, among other things, the enactment of the ordinance that is before the Township Council tonight to strengthen and make more stringent requirements for development before our land use boards. This particular ordinance is identical to an ordinance that every other municipal government in New Jersey is being asked to adopt, and that is what is before the Township Council tonight. Be happy to respond to any questions.
Thank you. First of all, I'll ask for a motion on this. Philippe, do I see your hand reaching for a button?
I just wanted to state that I did have a meeting with Mr. Burr. Thank you, Mr. Pappas, for making your engineer accessible to the governing body. And I was told that this will put us in compliance with state law, that we have to comply with state law. And so this ordinance will now put us in compliance. And number two, I was also assured that there were no increased fees to the township as a result of this particular ordinance. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
If I can just clarify, there is only one provision that we have added here, and it is not a fee if the individuals that own, or individuals, entities that own privately maintained detention basins. There is a requirement as part of the state's stormwater management edict that every municipal government has to certify that every privately owned detention basin is maintained annually. And so what we have included in this ordinance is a requirement that those privately held detention basins notify the township annually that they are maintaining. If we did not include that, the township government would be required to inspect those detention basins at our own expense.
Well, Council President, I'm just, based on the fact that I feel like our hands are tied, the state passes laws, and some of these laws force municipalities to do certain things, and this is one of those examples. I don't think we have much of a choice. So.
From my perspective, and I appreciate Mr. Burr's time in going through great explanation on this, this is not a bad document. It may be an expensive document, but it requires a lot of work and part. We have some 600 to 700 what I'll call outfalls, places where underground pipes come out, and this requirement requires inspection. After a major event, several inches of rain, they have to go back out, so it's one that we'll have to work on. Now, we need to have a public meeting. At this point, I'd like to have a motion to open the meeting to the public on this.
I'll make that motion.
We have a
Second
motion,
it.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are open to the public for any public comments on item 10. Ms. Geiger coming forward.
Joan G. Geiger, thank you very much for, I think you're expressing your willingness to pass the ordinance. And I can't tell you how important I think this is. This affects every homeowner. I mean, we all have had water in our basement. We all are, in the very, very least, we have to deal with not being able to travel on roads because they're closed because of storm damage. And in the very, very worst, we have lost 4 people, 1 Bridgewater residents and 3 people in Bridgewater during Ida. I understand how expensive this is. I appreciate Councilman Kirsch's concern about the cost to us, but the cost of doing nothing is far greater than the cost of doing something. And so I appreciate the council's willingness to pass this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to share insight with the council on this issue? Seeing none, could I have a motion to close public input and move for final action on this?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion.
I'll second, subject to any
All
potential
right, any other
conversation.
discussion on this amongst the councilmen? Any other additional questions for Mr. Pappas?
Mr. President, just a brief comment on this subject in general. Stormwater management and high level of concern about stormwater management is certainly nothing new. It's not new this year, and it's not new to the faces that are on this dais right now. I was on the zoning board for 8 years before my time on council began roughly 5 years ago. I know looking at this dais, I think just about all of us have been on the zoning board, possibly going back even to the beginning of the decade. I'm sorry, to the beginning of the century, really, back to over 20 to 25 years. And I can assure residents that in the past and in the present, as cases are heard before the land use boards, one of the issues that's front and center is what's going to happen to the stormwater. How is whatever you want to do to your land going to make the circumstance no worse than it is now and preferably better? And that's where substantial engineering solutions typically come into place to manage stormwater, as I said, at least as well, if not better, than it is in the current state. So that is an ongoing commitment, not only from this council, but certainly from our land use boards. We certainly understand the challenges, as water typically is rolling downhill, as I said, we will continue to be diligent on this issue moving ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. Okay, item 11, we have no introduction of ordinances. Moving to the resolutions, item 12A, award of contract to RJM Landscape and Design LLC of 821 Parsonage Hill Drive, Branchburg, New Jersey, 08876, for snow removal services in the amount not to exceed $75,000 for the 2024-2025 winter season. Mr. Pappas, any comments on this, please?
No, this is just an annual resolution. This is a new firm, and I expect they will do a very good job for us.
Excellent. Okay.
A clarifying question, if I may. Are we authorizing any snow removal that would occur before the end of this year and then would need to take additional action through the 2025 budget, or does this cover the full winter?
From now till next spring, right?
Yes, depending upon, you have an amount, not to exceed amount, so it really depends upon how much snow we have. So we may have to come back for more funding, but hopefully not.
No, we're going to do our no snow prayer.
Yeah.
At the
we'll-
right time.
We'll work on that. Okay, any other comments? If not, could I have a motion on 12A, please?
I'll make,
that motion to introduce.
Motion by Alan, second by
I'll second it.
Michael. Roll call, please, 12A.
Councilman Kirsch,
yes.
Councilman Cordilla,
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso,
Yes.
President Nogales.
Yes. Moving to 12B, authorizing the purchase of road salt for the 2024-2025 winter season from the Somerset County Road and Bridge Division, P.O. Box 3000, Somerville, New Jersey, 08876, in the amount not to exceed $70,000. Mr. Pappas.
Again, simply what the resolution title states, salt for our road department.
We pick all our salt up at the county facilities, and it makes it easier and convenient. If there are no other comments or questions, could I have a motion on 12B, please?
Make that motion.
Second,
Thank you. Second, okay. Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch,
yes.
Councilman Cordilla,
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso,
Yes.
President Nogales.
Yes. 12C, approving participation with the State of New Jersey in a Safe and Secure Communities grant program administered by the Office of the Attorney General, Department of the Law and Public Safety, for a grant amount of up to $45,150 and a matching expense of up to $221,921.64. Just for the public, often grants have a requirement that you spend additional funds related to the grant. That's called matching funds. And in this particular case, the matching funds would be police salaries. Mr. Pappas, you have any comments? Any questions? If not, may I have a motion, please?
Make
wanna-
that motion.
Just want to note that my understanding is that these funds will be used to offset 2 traffic safety officers. Is that correct? And whether or not the grant is received, the township is going to incur the expense no matter what for the 2 traffic safety officers, correct?
That is correct.
Right. So
Okay. Roll call, please.
I'll
Oh,
second.
I'm sorry. Was there a second?
Councilman Kirsch,
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla,
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso,
yes.
President Nogales.
Yes. Okay, 12D is supporting the New Jersey Department of Transportation Route 202, 206, and Route 22 interchange Petersbrook to Commons Way project located in the township of Bridgewater, Somerset County. Mr. Pappas, would
Yes, I did distribute a photograph provided by Mr. Burr of the interchange, and I hope it illustrates what the state is proposing, and appreciate the council's consideration in supporting this project at the request of the DOT.
by the way, whether we agree or disagree will have absolutely no impact on the state of New Jersey. This is something we do as a courtesy to them, for them to be able to circulate conditions of approval within their departments. One of the things that as soon as this issue came up, I asked Mr. Pappas, I said, are we going to have the opportunity in going east on 22 to be able to go south on 202, 206? And the answer is no. So these are some route improvements, but we have to wait for the next project, sadly. Any comments at this point? Could I have a motion?
I have a question. Mr.
Yes, sir.
Pappas, we don't typically, I don't recall making resolutions for every DOT project that happens in Bridgewater Township. What's unique about this particular project?
But we do. We have historically, over the years, had numerous DOT resolutions for support,
Well,
even
this-
though it wasn't material.
It's not every...
Not that common, so.
It has not been for every project,
Right.
and there have been instances where the council has chosen not to take any position. It's totally at your discretion.
What's the administration's position on this?
Supporting the adoption of the resolution as a courtesy to the DOT.
I mean, as I look at the plan, I mean, I don't know, this wasn't provided in our packet, and I just received it today. I presume the public hasn't seen this yet. So just for the public's perspective, it doesn't look like there's really much being changed in way of the road traffic. It's just that they're going to be expanding the road in some areas, putting some guardrails here and there. It's not like, they're not really changing the flow of traffic at all, or,
That's my understanding.
Great.
all right.
Okay, could I have a motion for 12D, please?
I'll make that motion, Howard.
Okay, could I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please, 12D.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cardillo?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. Okay, we have completed the resolutions. We are now up to item 13, which is a closed session. Be it resolved by the Bridgewater Township Council that this body will hold a closed meeting to discuss litigation for affordable housing. When and if the matter discussed becomes public record, this will be made known to the public at that time. The public is excluded from said meeting, and further notice thereof is dispensed with all in accordance with Sections 8 and 4A of the Open Public Meetings Act. I would expect there will be no business following this meeting. We will simply close the closed session and then move for adjournment. Could we have a motion to go to closed session, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second, please.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are in closed session. Suzanne, are we off? Thanks, Alex. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back online now. We have completed the closed session. The only remaining course of business at this point is adjournment. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor of
Aye.
adjournment? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, ladies.
Michael, what
And Alex.
what game is on tonight? What game is on tonight, Michael?
Patriots.
You too.
Patriots.
Oh, I thought you because it's over the New England.
Oh, I
Patriots.
don't give a shit about that.
And I'm like, why does he care about that?